Hi everyone, welcome to the History of Football channel. Today I'll be doing another Forgotten Ground as part of my Forgotten Football Ground series. I've done plenty of videos, the Old Den, the Dell, the Baseball Ground, Highfield Road, Filbert Street. Go check them out, there's a playlist involved there. But tonight I'm going to be doing the Manor Ground, the former home ground of Oxford United. Now, a lot of people wouldn't know this, but before Oxford United were called what they are today, they were known as Headington United, and their first game at the Manor Ground after their move in 1925 kicked off late after the visitors' bus broke down on the way to the ground. That said, it didn't stop the visitors' Headington winning 2-1 at Headington United. In 1946, the first major development on the ground took place. A stand purchased from Cowley Football Club was erected on the Osler side of the ground. However, it collapsed the following winter. This was rebuilt later with seats from the Cuckoo Lane end stand. 2 years later, the first terracing was built, stretching from London Road end up to the little Osler Road end. Headington turned professional in 1949. The same year, they ended their ground share with Headington United Cricket Club. As a result, the club spent money on sunken terracing along Osler Road, 5 rows of standing on the beach and London roads, and a dressing room on the corner of Beach Road and Cuckoo Lane, with 100 seats above. Capacity had gone from 4,000 seats to 12,000 seats. By 1950, the new attendance record was set when 10,160 people watched Headington play out a 1-1 draw with Yeovil Town in April 1950. The same year, the club installed a corrugated iron roof and back to the Osler Road stand before erecting 8-inch floodlights on poles. The Manor Ground became the first in the country to host a football match under lights when Headington United beat Banbury Spencer in a friendly on the 18th of December in front of a crowd of 2,603 people. 2 years later, the Bolton Beach Road terrace was demolished and work commenced on a 1,600 new replacement stand. By 1960, Headington United became Oxford United, and in 1961, the club put down a deposit on the Manor Ground freehold to buy it from the Headington Sports Group Limited. Completed in 1962 in line with the club's election of the Football League, the Cuckoo Lane was then dismantled and replaced by a dozen rows of terracing before the club installed a 4,000 capacity terrace in the London Road stand. The Manor Ground's famous 18 floodlights were then replaced by 4 pylons which stood in all 4 corners of the ground. By 1965, extensive terracing was built at the Cuckoo Lane end, taking the capacity to 19,000, but 5 fans were injured during an FA Cup 4th round tie against Watford when a part of the front wall of the London Road stand collapsed. By 1973, crowd segregation was introduced. The London Road was divided, with the left being the section for the away supporters. 2 years later, new dressing rooms, offices, boardroom and press box and players' tunnels was opened on the Beach Road stand by Sir Matt Busby himself, manager of visiting Manchester United. In 1982, fences were erected at the front of the Cuckoo Lane, Osler and London Road stands due to increase in football hooliganism. Following promotion in 1984, the Osler Road terrace was demolished and replaced with new terracing and a new roof which ran up to the halfway line. The remainder of the terrace was replaced by 2 separate covered areas. The 1980s were a good decade for Oxford United, as they were the first English team to win back-to-back promotions, and they went from Division 3 in 1984 to Division 1 in 1986. In 1986, the U's won the Milk Cup final, which is the modern-day League Cup final, before spending a total of 3 years in the top flight. In 1992, the fence at the front of the London Road was removed. Before the final 2 seasons at the Manor Ground, they were only granted special dispensation to play there by the Football Licence Authority due to the club's imminent move. The roof of the London and Beach Road stands were full of asbestos and failed to comply with the safety standards. Terrace in particular on the Beach Road was starting to crumble. Around that time, studies suggested that for the club to stay at the Manor Ground, It would cost several £1 million, and also the stadium would reduce the capacity by 2,803 seats. The final game at the Manor Ground was in the year 2001. Andy Scott scored in a 1-1 draw against Port Vale, while new owner Feroz Kassam and his company Furoka purchased the ground for £6 million. In November 2001, Furoka was granted permission to build a hospital and 87 flats on the site before selling to Nuffield Health Trust for £12 million. For Oxford United, their final year at the Manor Ground was one of the worst in their history. The club finished bottom of Division 2 with 27 points and were relegated to Division 3, their lowest standing in 35 years. The stadium were later demolished in 2001, and the site of the Manor Ground is now the Manor Hospital, a private hospital owned by and operated by Nuffield Health Trust. Looking at the record attendance at the Manor Ground, it come on the 29th of February 1964. It was an FA Cup match against Preston North End, and 22,750 people attended that game. The record home win for Oxford United at the Manor Ground, which is also the club record home win, come on the 19th of December 1964. It was in Division 4, and they beat Barrow 7-0. The record League Cup victory that they recorded at the Manor Ground come on the 24th of September 1986. They beat Gillingham 6-0. Their record league loss at the ground come on the 19th of September 1998. They were beaten 7-0 by Sunderland in the AL Division 1. Going back to attendances, the highest Football League attendance in any division come on the 31st of March 1932 against Birmingham City in the second division, or level 2. 18,740 people watched that match against Birmingham City at the Manor Ground. So that concludes my video on the Manor Ground tonight, the former home of Oxford United. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your memories of the Manor Ground. If you went there as a away fan, as a home fan, I'd like to know. And just before I go, I'd like to say that there's people out there that say that nobody cares about the old days, nobody cares about history, nobody cares about what happens in the past. Well, fuck you, because look at this channel, look how it's going. I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers. People do care about the past, people do care about history. Look at Highfield Road, over 24,000 for that. My latest video, over 6,000 for that. So clearly, people do care about the past, people do care about history, people do care about old grounds. So to those people that say that history doesn't matter, fuck you. So this has been History of Football. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for the rant at the end, but it had to be done. If people want to be personal, people that want to attack me personally, that's what you're going to get. But stay tuned for the next video. It should be out later this week. This has been History of Football, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, tatty bye for now.